You accepted an offer on your home. Congratulations. But here's the part sellers do not always realize. Accepting the offer does not mean the sale is officially done. Escrow is where inspections, appraisals, loan approvals, disclosures, timelines, repairs, and all of those little closing details come together. Sometimes things can get a little bit bumpy. So today I'm walking through what can go wrong during escrow and why the goal is not just to open escrow, but to close it smoothly. Hi, I'm Katherine with Seven Gables Real Estate, and I help Orange County homeowners thoughtfully position, beautifully present, and carefully protect their sale from start to finish. Escrow can feel overwhelming, but when you know what to expect, it becomes much easier to navigate. So let's talk about some of the common issues that can come up. Number one, inspection issues. One of the first things that can come up during escrow is the buyer's inspection. The buyer may have a general home inspection, termite inspection, roof inspection, sewer inspection, HVAC inspection, pool inspection, or other specialized inspections depending on the property. And even if the home has been well maintained, inspections almost always find something. Now, that does not automatically mean the deal is in trouble, but if the inspection reveals bigger issues like roof damage, plumbing leaks, electrical concerns, foundation concerns, termite damage, or HVAC problems, the buyer may ask for a repair, a credit, or a price adjustment. This is why it helps to prepare before listing and disclose known issues honestly. The fewer surprises during escrow, the better. Number two, repair negotiations. After said inspection, the buyer may submit a repair request. This can often feel stressful for sellers, especially if the request is long or includes items the seller did not expect. But a repair request is not the same thing as a demand. A buyer can ask for anything. That does not mean the seller has to agree to everything. Sometimes the seller agrees to certain repairs. Sometimes the seller will offer a credit. Sometimes both sides negotiate and renegotiate. And sometimes the seller says no. The important thing is to respond strategically and not emotionally. The goal is to protect the sale without giving away more than necessary. 3, a low appraisal. Another issue that can come up is the appraisal. If the buyer is getting a loan, the lender will usually order an appraisal to confirm that the home supports the purchase price. If the appraisal comes in or above the purchase price, that part usually moves forward smoothly, no issues. But if the appraisal comes in low, then the buyer and the seller may need to figure out what happens next. The buyer could bring in extra cash if they have it. The seller could reduce the price. Both sides could meet somewhere in the middle, or the deal could be at risk depending on the contract and appraisal contingency. This is why pricing and offer strategy matter so much from the beginning. The highest offer is not always the strongest offer if it cannot actually close. Number 4, buyer loan delays or denial. Even after a buyer gets pre-approved, their loan still has to go through underwriting. Now, during escrow, the lender will ask the buyer for updated documents, review income, verify employment, review credit, and confirm the buyer's ability to close. Sometimes there are delays, and in some cases, the buyer's loan can run into problems. This could happen if the buyer changes jobs, opens new credit, takes on new debt, moves money around without explanation, or if something changes during underwriting. For sellers, this is why it matters to evaluate the buyer's financing before accepting the offer, not just price. 5, missing disclosures or documents. In California, disclosures are a big part of the transaction. If required disclosures, HOA documents or reports, or paperwork are delayed or incomplete, it can slow down escrow or create concern for the buyer. Buyers need time to review those documents, ask questions, and understand what they are buying, and do their duty. For sellers, staying organized matters. You do not want missing paperwork to create unnecessary delays or give the buyer a reason to lose confidence in the home. A well-documented transaction will protect the buyer and the seller. Number 6, the buyers get cold feet. Sometimes the buyer could get cold feet, and buying a home is a major decision, and some buyers get nervous during escrow. They may start second-guessing the purchase, worrying about the payment, comparing other homes, or feeling overwhelmed by inspection results. This is why strong communication really, really matters. A good escrow process keeps everyone informed, addresses concerns early, and avoids letting small concerns turn into major problems. Number 7, the final walkthrough problems. Before closing, the buyer usually does a final walkthrough. This is typically to confirm that the home is in substantially the same condition, agreed upon repairs were completed, and nothing unexpected happened before closing. Problems can come up if something was damaged during move-out, fixtures were removed that were supposed to stay, repairs were not completed properly, or the home was left in poor condition. Now, the final walkthrough is late in the process, so sellers should be careful during move-out. You don't want a last-minute issue right before Now, speaking of closing, number 8, closing delays. Even when everything is mostly on track, closing can still be delayed. This could be due to loan documents, funding, escrow paperwork, title issues, signature wires, timing, or county recording deadlines. A delay does not always mean that something is wrong, but it can be stressful if the seller is coordinating a move, a purchase, or another timeline. This is why communication is so important near the finish line. So just to recap what can go wrong during escrow, you can have inspection issues, repair negotiations, low appraisal, loan delays, missing disclosures or documents. Buyer could get cold feet, final walkthrough problems, and closing delays. Now, escrow has a lot of moving parts, but with preparation, communication, and strategy, issues can become handled before they go on to bigger problems. If you're thinking about selling your home in Orange County, it's important to have a plan not just for getting an offer, but for protecting the sale all the way through. I'm Katherine with Seven Gables Real Estate. My goal is to help protect your home, thoughtfully position your home, and beautifully present your home from start to finish. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.